What's up, YouTube? On this episode of Coddiwomple Overland, we're going to be talking about trail planning. Coddiwomple Overland is brought to you in part by Overland Vehicle Systems, Stop Overland, and Faster Flate. Over the past several weeks or months, we've been getting a lot of questions about how we plan our trips, how we find the routes that we find, and just in general how to get started in overlanding. Over the past week, I learned that the Bullfrog Ferry in Utah is now closed. You can't take the ferry across Lake Powell, which was going to be one of our routes when we went to Utah in August. So I thought this will be a good opportunity to show you guys a little bit about how we go about finding trails on the map and planning our trips. To get started on our desktop, we primarily use Gaia GPS. That's our base tool. And right here you can see the layers that I normally have up. I always have my base layer as Gaia Topo, and then I always have motor vehicle use map up, U.S. Forest Service recreation sites. So that kind of shows me if it's a national forest, if there's any recreational sites such as camping or restrooms or things like that. Then I always have National Geo Trails Illustrated, public lands, and imagery. And I'll show you a little bit about how each one of those work. Our main one is the Gaia Topo. And as you zoom in, it starts giving you a lot more definition as far as terrain and topographics, different trails and roads. The other cool thing about that is if you're not sure what something is, you can go over here and you can click on this, on information, and it will actually give you a legend of everything that's on this map right here. So, and the same goes for all of these others. If there's a line or some kind of feature that you don't understand on it, you can go over there and find the information on any one of those layers. But what we look at is the plan was to come down this road here, and we were going to camp here, cross the ferry. There's actually a ferry that runs across Lake Powell, and then back onto Route 276. That now is a problem because Lake Powell's dropped 30 feet in the last year or so. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out how we're going to detour that. And the first option is to come up and come around this way and back down, or come all the way down to Page and work our way back up. Doing that all the way down into Page, while it would be a wonderful trip, it's going to add to our days, and I'm not sure that we really can do that. So what we want to do is maybe try to work our way from here over this way and then cross the Colorado River and then make our way on into where the rest of our trails were. So we're going to use a couple other tools to see what's here. You can zoom in and you can see that there's a lot of different roads in this area. So I want to find out a little bit more about it. You can see that one there, and you've got this one here. So what I want to use from here is the first one I'm going to look at is AllTrails. And AllTrails is a website that you can go to that has literally hundreds of different trails all over the United States. Mainly in the western part of the United States, but they have a few over in the eastern part as well. So we're going to dial into here, and there's Bullfrog, which is where we were initially ended up wanting to camp. There's 276, and there's Bullfrog Canyon. So what we want to do is we want to ultimately get over here, and it shows Strike Valley there, Poison Ridge Canyon, Bull Creek Pass. So it doesn't really, this one doesn't show us a whole lot in this area. So we have another one that we're going to look at, and that is Trails Offroad. Now, Trails Offroad does a very similar, same thing that AllTrails does, but sometimes they have different information. So what we're going to look at, there's Bullfrog, and we're going to come up here, and there's some trails that stick out to me. So I want to look some more about what this one is. So you can click on it, you can highlight it there, and it highlights over here. So that's Henry Mountain Road. Now, the cool thing about this particular website is I can go to read more on Henry Mountain Road, and it's going to give me the route, and it also gives me waypoints along the route. Tells you a little bit about the route. It even has a video that you can play that I'll just do a couple little quick clip of it here.
An ancient uplift of the Earth's crust.
So you can see that it has a video with some of them, weather information. But here's your waypoints that I was talking about up there at the top along the route. It actually shows you some pictures of each one of those waypoints. And there's a potential camping area. This one's also potential camping areas, which brings me to another thing up here at the top. It will tell you a little bit about what you can do. It's camping. You're going to have some desert. You're going to have some forest. And it's a good route for overlanding. So this one looks like a pretty good route to me. So if you have Gaia, you can come right here, and as long as you have put your information in, you can authorize Trails Offroad to access your Gaia, and it uploads it directly to your Gaia account. So now that we have that, we can go back to our Gaia GPS, and it should have populated. So here's Henry Mountain Road, and it shows that it's on. So let's go back to the map and see if it's there. Sometimes it takes a minute to populate. There it is. Okay. Now it's populated with all of those particular waypoints. So as luck would have it, this was where our camp the night before that was going to be. So we'll just come down here and get on this one. So we've made it that far. We know that this one goes through. We want to take a look at it and see what else we've got, right? So the next trail that we're going to look at is Nasty Flat. So Nasty Flat looks like a decent route. It's got all the attributes that we want. There's a picture of it and a little bit of detail and another video. So it says it's a technical rating of easy, and here's our waypoints. So it gives us a good idea of what's there. A lot of aspen trees in this one, and kind of up in the mountains, a little bit different than the red rocks that we were at before. So I think that looks like a pretty good route that may get us over there. So let's go back up, and we're going to upload that to Gaia as well. Now, while we're in here, you've got this one and this one, and if we scroll on over, it ultimately connects up with with Route 95. If we go back here, Route 95 is what we're actually looking for to get across the river. So we're going to come back up here, go back over, and we're going to click on Bull Creek Pass. we pretty much know this is where we're going to want to go to. So rather than looking for everything, we're just going to go ahead and upload that. And then we'll click on the next one. Now these are just general routes that, you know, we might want to take, and we know that it's a through route and it'll get us where we want to be. So, but one of the things I'm going to show you when we go back to Gaia is there's actually several different options that you can use here. So it'll take a minute for this to populate. While it's doing that, I'll just take you over to iOverlander. iOverlander is another app that we use if we're struggling to find a camp spot, or if I want to know whether there's a lot of camp spots in a particular area. Then I'll pull up iOverlander and see, like this area right here, it says there's 13 campsites in that area. Okay, so get my bearings. Here's Hanksville. This is 95. This area right in here is where we're going to be. There's Upper Browns Creek, Star Spring Campground, Bromide Canyon, Fire Pit Wild Camping. Let's look at that one. So let's check more details. And that one is a big open. It shows you a picture of it. Are there any amenities? No. And it just says that it's a wild campsite between Capitol Reef and Lake Mead, which should be Lake Powell instead of Lake Mead. All right, there's 4 more along this road right here. There's Hot Spring Recreation Area, tucked away hideout in a canyon. That sounds interesting. And it says that it's a really beautiful spot, 300 feet off the road. That's pretty cool. So if we wanted to look at that for maybe a potential campsite, what we could do is copy these coordinates right here. And copy. And then you can go back to your topo. Here's the waypoint for our campsite that we were looking for. I'm going to edit it. I'm going to give it a little tint. So that's on right off of 95. That's kind of close to where we want to go. All right. It's a little bit far north though, right? Because right here's 276 and right here's 95. Here's our trail that we were looking at before. And there's our other trails that are coming in and getting us a little closer to where we want to be, right? So there's all kinds of trails that we can explore in this area if we decide to. Or actually we can come around this way and it shows this road coming into Copper Spring, and that'll bring us down this way. Lots of different options, but we have this as a base. So we're going to come out here, and now we're going to draw a route from here down to the lake. And we're going to cross the lake right here. The neat thing about Gaia is it'll snap that route right there where we want it, and we're going to save that part. So we're going to come over here because there's a lot of trails that come off this way that we could use rather than hitting 95. So we're going to look at AllTrails, which is sometimes a pretty good one. And then right here is where we're at on 95. I don't see a whole lot that comes over into that area. Elk Ridge Road is there. Beef Basin is up there. Elk Ridge Road is actually where we're trying to get to. So we want to come from here to Elk Ridge Road, but we don't want to do it by Blacktop. So let's see if Trails Offroad has anything that's in that area. So we'll go back to the map. And there's this route. So Wooden Shoe Road. Tells you a little bit about it, gives you a picture. Looks like we're back down in the desert again. Pretty cool. There's your video. And here's some of the waypoints. Looks like there's some campsites available along this route too. Looks like some pretty cool campsites actually. All right, so we can look at iOverlander just to see if what it says about camping in that area. And it looks like that there's a couple that they're showing right along the rim there. So let's see what those details look like. Pretty neat campsite. So we've got some opportunities in that area for camping. All right, so let's go back up here. And now we're going to add that. And that should come over to Gaia. And there's our route. And that connects us right back in. So in essence, what we've done is we were able to circumvent this with this trip right here. Now, I talked about motor vehicle use maps and motor vehicle use routes. You can see there is a bunch of different stuff, and this is in National Forest Service. The reason there's not anything over here is this is all BLM land. So these are actually National Forest Service roads that you can travel. So there's a lot of different opportunities in here. The reason we're planning on going all the way over here, Blanding is going to be a refuel stop for us. If we decide that we don't need refuel or resupplied, then we'll probably just cut up this way and connect back in and continue on our trip. Or we'll make them all the way down here because I think we're going to maybe camp in this area or look at it. So I hope this has helped you guys just a little bit understand a little bit about planning. I know it's just a brief overview. If you would like me to go deeper into it, just let me know and I'll be happy to do that for you. I hope you guys have got a little bit of value out of this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I know this was just a really brief and broad overview of what you can do with maps. If you would like to see more of this kind of stuff, let me know and we'll dive a little bit deeper into it. Again, thanks for watching Coddiwomple Overland. We sure do appreciate it. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, see you.